Hello and good evening. I am 4 minutes early. Following on from last night, when I was 15 minutes early, I was just sitting here thinking, have I got everything ready? And I have. So, it's Wednesday evening. Unusual for me to be going live on a Wednesday evening, but owing to last week, hello, Vanessa is watching. Due to last week being a little bit poorly, we postponed until this week. So I thought I would do last Tuesday's bag of the month today. Oh, let's just have a look. Of course, we're in the group, and of course, I won't be able to see what's going on. So let's see. Oh, I am here. Excellent. But we won't listen to my voice on there. Oh, no, that's long. That's high. That's better. Oops. That's fine. Right, I can see me now. And I can see comments. Good evening, Caroline. Obviously, no comments on the screen here. But there's Caroline, there's Jill, there's Sue, and Margaret, and Shirley, Janet Ball, and 11 others watching, it says. So, Shirley, Christine, and I can't see who the other 11 are. Never mind, it doesn't really matter. Hello, Alison and Vanessa. Sounding a little bit better, yes. Funnily enough, hello, Kathleen. Oh, there's Janet. You had a lovely day sewing. Hope everything is well. Everyone is well. I hope we're all well too. Hello, Anne, and hello, Susan. So I went to see my dad today, and I was a little bit snuffly. So I had one of his extra strong throat lozenges, Strepsils, and it just cleared. It was wonderful. Let's just see there. Hello, Heather, and hello, Lindsay, and Marilyn, and Nicola. So yes, lots of you around on this lovely dark Wednesday evening. Oh, there's Bev. Hello, and Gita. Oh, thank you. We are, and Dorothy. Lovely to see you all. Hello, Moya. And Carol, finally back from Tenerife. Now, you have got a lot of catching up. I tell you, Carol, most of the ladies who watch all the time have got too much to do. And that's what I do believe about this group. It could keep you busy forever. From one week to the next, there's always something to do. But well done, all of you who've already made last night's block, the bow tie block, in whatever configuration you wanted to do it. But they are looking fantastic. And as I put in a little post, I am so proud of you all. And it really makes me warm inside when I see something that I've designed or given you the inspiration. And you make such lovely, lovely items. You really do. Proud of you all. So, hello, Rena, and hello, Jane. Can't stop long as you're off to make paper Easter eggs. How nice. How do you make a flat piece of paper round? I wonder. Hello, Sue, and hello. Oh, there's Dorothy. Hello. Anyone going to the NEC tomorrow? She says. I'm not going tomorrow. I am thinking I might go on Sunday, but we'll see. I see if anybody is interested. There's 25% off tickets, but it finishes midnight tonight, which I thought, wow. Why are they offering 25% at the last minute? Perhaps they don't imagine too many people are going. But well worth a visit, I am sure. Hello, John. Hello, Jill. Lovely to see you both, and I'm sure you're there. All your tips. Oh, thank you, Jill. Whatever we are, I missed the first bit, I think. Hello, Carolyn. You're still having tea again. I'm waiting for mine. I don't know what Martin's cooking up tonight. Hello, Beverly. Hopes we're all good and well. And Janet, wet and cold. Yeah, I think it's raining a little bit here as well. But as I'm indoors, and I'm quite snuggly actually, the radiator's on over here. Martin tells me to switch it off, but I say I need to be warm. So, hello, Jill. Yes, lots of you have been very busy sewing. So, hello, Carrie and Mavis. You're here. Oh, that's lovely. I'm glad you're both there, and I hope you're well too. Yes, Gita, it was lovely, even though it was a little bit brief. But I was just in the care home with my dad, and in fact had 3 people ring, so I disappeared out of the room. A little bit echoey in the hall there, but very nice place to be. Lovely. And so there's Joanna, hello, and Brenda. Looking forward to tonight's demo. Do you know, as I'd done it over a week ago, it did make me think, oh, what size did I cut that? What size did I do that? Yes. But no, it's all come flooding back. And tonight, you can see it there behind me, can't you? Here we are, in that fabulous material. But I'm doing it in a different colourway tonight, and I will show you what it is going to be. So we are going to use a lovely, another cotton linen canvas, but with peacock feathers on. So this is rather nice too. Hello, Sue, and hello, Marion. You forgot to charge your phone. Oh, yes. Yes. I'm hoping I'm not going to be too long. So you can see I've done a little bit, because my fabric's standing up, it's because I've already put the wadding to it. Oh, I think you're loving this. Good evening, Janet and Jack. Hopes we're all warm and dry. Looking forward to the demo too. Yes, so this is another fabric. So, tomorrow evening, hello, Lorraine. We are having a Thrifty Thursday sale, and it is going to be my newest. Yeah, I'll hold it up again. It is lovely. The comments are a little bit slow coming through. But yes, so I'm going to have my newest fabrics that have come in, this being one of them. I have got another one, which is, oh, you love it too, Jack and Beverly. Hello, Jackie. Yeah, so I thought they have got so many. I could have bought loads. Hello, Marion. Loads and loads and loads. But, you know, you have to have budgets, and you have to be sensible, especially when you have sewing machines dropping through the door, you know. So I got what I liked, and I know there's more that I like too. So I thought I'll offer them to you ladies, and then when they're gone, I can get some more. Hello, Patricia. Whoops, what on earth am I doing? Oh, that's better. Goodness, something else was coming there. Hello, Patty. Lovely to see you. Yes, yeah, I must admit that fabric is beautiful. So that will be on tomorrow night. I have got, it's a whole roll. Can't remember how much is on there, but I will have a fair bit. Hello, Amanda. Amanda says hello to all. So, yes, so there's going to be, I think there's a seasidey one as well. No, I haven't done yet, Anne, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, when I've got your message and I've set it aside, but you know, when I've done Create and Craft, which was last Thursday, I have to go with that all the time. So unfortunately, other things have to wait. You know, I've put some orders out, but when it's been, you know, wadding, I can just whack that off as and when I'm cutting the bag samples, or sorry, the bag kits and whatever other kits I'm needing it for. But it will be coming out, I promise you. Hello, Linda. Oh, Jack, decisions. You don't have to decide now, and you don't. I'll always, if I run out, I can always get some more. Because, yeah, it is absolutely, I love it. But there's some others that are very similar that I could have got as well. So, yes, there will be more to come. I'm not going to run out of them and never have any again. So, hello, Sue. The other thing I was going to say, what I have done, I have just put on the website not long ago. Now, you know this bag is based, or this cosmetic bag is based on the Rowena bag in all the sizes, as in the Rowena bag. But the Rowena has handles, and it also has a front pocket with a flap on it. So the basics of the bag are the cosmetic bag here. But with the Rowena, you do need wire frames. So I have got some of these. They are 10-inch wire frames, and they will fit this particular bag. Doesn't look like it that there, but it does. It fits this bag, and it makes it into a bag if you put handles on. So they are 2 for, I think they're £4.50. I mean, they're not the cheapest. A little bit like the doctor's bag. Can't think what it was called now. Which was a frame, a tubular frame, which was hinged. So it used to come open like that. Don't know if you've used any before, but what you had to do, it got a little long rivet that went through the side. You opened one, threaded it through, and then had to get the little rivet back in this bit here, and that was the hardest bit about making the bag. These ones, on the other hand, are so easy to use, because you can actually, once you've made your bag, they just be inserted in the top part here, just around the zip. There's a little channel there. They're inserted in there so that when you open your bag, oh, it opens and it gives a mouth like that is rigid, because you've got the wire frames in. So they're on the website. I haven't got that many because, as I say, they're not the cheapest ones to buy, but they're really the Gladstone bag, Amanda. Good job, somebody's on the ball. And Lindsay, you knew. Oh, so let's see. I missed a lot of these people here. So we said Sue, hello Deborah, hello Elizabeth, hello Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. You got your rulers, Amanda. Fabulous. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Leslie's been off to your husband in and out. Oh dear. Never mind, you'd always be able to catch up. I hope you're both doing well, or as well as can be expected. Yeah, you're all right with the Gladstone bag. That's the one. Brain mush, but it will get better. Hello, Bridget. No worry, you're trying to do your bow tie block again. Oh, I know. You can do that. Or you might be doing it a second time. Or you might be doing the different layout as well. So, hello, Jane. Hello, Anne. And hello, Linda. Yes, so you saw my boxes. So, all of you, please head over to the inspiration group, the Sew Trisha Sews, where you pop all your makes in there for everybody to see. Because I wasn't aware until first thing this morning, but the other 2 boxes have arrived. And the one on the top, the smaller square box, is what is going to be, or the contents of that box is going to be a giveaway. Now, it is a high value giveaway. It is worth at least £500. Oh my goodness. So one of you will absolutely love it. Honestly, you will absolutely love it. And I'm doing this because I don't need one. It would be lovely, you know, I was thinking, well, you know, perhaps I'll use it, but why would I when I've got one? So I am thinking, you lovely, lovely ladies who support me and have done for years, why don't you have the benefit of it? So it's not going to be immediately, because what I thought I would do, it will be somebody from within this group, but I would like, obviously, to attract a few more people into the group as well. So this is, I haven't decided totally, but what I thought was, I know, Lindsay, I know, you probably all think I'm mad, but, you know, I'm happy with my lot. You saw the other 2 boxes, which I've treated myself with. And why don't we? Hello, Deborah. Oh, and there's Sue. And hello, Mary. And Sheila. Oh, I've been missing you there. So partly, I'll have to get into the finer details, but in my mind, what I'm thinking is it may very well be, I've got June, the end of June in my mind, to give time, you know, about 3 months to sort of build up. And I think it wouldn't be as fair. I'm all about fairness. For somebody to join the group in June and be in the draw, where all of you, or the majority of you, have been in here for, by that time, 6 months, say. But what I thought I would do, your name would go into the draw for every month that you are in it. So if you've been in from the beginning, in June, you will have 6 of your name in the draw. If you've been in for 2 months, so somebody who hasn't joined yet, they will get 2. They'll get one for the May and one for the June. So that is my idea. Hello down there. Oh, Deborah. Lindsay remembers. Sorry, I didn't remember. But hello from down under, Deborah. Yes, I do remember now. Brain. Hello, Jenny. Hello, Margaret. Not mad. Oh, thank you. Yes. So, it will be. Good evening, Shirley. I think you'll love it. The other thing, I haven't had a chance to do an unboxing yet. So yes, that's what I was saying. Pop over. Excuse me. But hello, Kirsten and Barbara. Yeah, I know I'll never be able to retire. No, I won't. But what's retirement all about? It's like what's sleeping. I do sleep well, thank you. Oh, never mind, Patricia. Oh, happy birthday, Patricia. Happy birthday. Yes, so all I was saying was about what's in that top box. So pop over, because I'm doing the last, well, not the last giveaway, but you might be bored. Somebody has, I haven't told them yet who it is. Somebody has guessed the right machine in the black box. But now that there's 3 boxes, I thought it was a little bit more difficult to get all 3 absolutely right. So what I thought was, anybody who guesses all 3 machines will get 2 charm packs. So I will divulge on Friday evening. So I should probably turn off commenting before then if I do the unboxing, because otherwise you'll know, won't you? So get your bids in, get your comments in. Oh, never mind, Karen. No, you haven't missed anything yet. I'm just having a little talk, and I haven't unveiled anything, but I will reveal what's in those boxes on Friday evening. So that will be when we do the quarter square triangles, and you can find out then what's in there and who's won both of the different giveaways. Hello, Sue. Lovely to see you. Oh, lots more. Happy birthday. Excuse me not commented very much, but my picture goes smaller. Oh, you have to keep going out of the live and back in. How annoying, Joanna. Never mind. I know you're there. Hello, Liz. And hello, Mary. Right, that is lovely. Right, let's put this down for a minute, because we have got quite a lot to do. So, what I did say earlier, for those that have only just joined, there are the internal bag wires for the Rowena bag, if you wanted to make this particular project into a bag rather than a cosmetic bag. So they're on the website, and I think they're £4.50 for the pair, which you'll need for 1 bag. And then the other thing, I'm going to do the project tonight in this fabric as opposed to that fabric behind me there, which is rather lovely. And both of these fabrics will be on sale in the Thrifty Thursday tomorrow evening at 6:30 on the So Totally Trisha page. So, and also I was just going on quite a bit about that there is going to be a very, very big giveaway, probably the end of June, but I'll get into the finer details closer to the date, or as soon as, really. But we won't know who's won it until the end of June. That is my idea at the moment. So the pattern, the cosmetic bag behind me is here. So quite deep. It's about 5 inches, I think that is. So nice and deep. It has a zip with tabs at each end. You, of course, can put extra pockets. I haven't put any in there at all, but it's quite nice and deep. Well, you can see how deep that is. It's probably about 10 inches deep. A zip with extension at each end, all the way across. And then the change I've done on the Rowena bag, across here has got a patch pocket on the front with a little flap. Whereas this one, I've done an internal zip pocket externally. So you've got a pocket on the outside. So your jewellery could go in there, your makeup could go inside. And because it's so so big. You could get your bottles of shampoo, you could get all of your facial, your toner, your moisturizer, and your, yeah, cleanser even. Yeah, it is that. It's a good 10 inches deep, so it will hold practically everything you want. Or if you want it for a knitting bag, or a crochet bag, or your sewing bag, or anything else you would like to pop in there. But it is, and it is really a fairly straightforward make. So, shall we begin as to what you need? So, the measurements are all in the instructions, and what I have already done, the thing that gives it its lovely stable shape, as you could see, is I've used Styleville fusible foam. Not fusible. You could use fusible, but it depends on the thickness of your fabric as to whether I would use fusible or not. This one isn't fusible, but what I have already done, I have stitched all the way around the outside, but with about 1/8 of an inch in, so all that basting stitch will be on the inside of my seams. I've already cut out the squares at the bottom, so just make sure if you are using a directional fabric, make sure you cut your squares out in the right place. Now, I did this first of all, and what I do, so I have 2 pieces of outer fabric, 2 pieces of the Styleville foam. You could use Bosal in our form if you wanted to. So 2 pieces of that, and then also 2 lining pieces. So there's 2 pieces of lining, and before I do anything, because these are based on rectangles, I line them all up. So I've got my wadding, outer fabric, and my calico I've got for this lining. Line them all up, and then I cut through all the layers at the same time. That way I know they're all identical size, okay? And also I check that my directional fabric is facing the right way. So I don't want Christmas trees upside down, or rabbits or cats or whatever. So, and also by having the squares cut out, you know the zip is not going to go down here, but it will go at that top edge. So the sizing of this, it's the widest portion, the widest measurement that is across, and the shorter measurement from top to bottom. So the next thing you also need, you will need 2 strips of 2 strips of your lining fabric and 2 strips of your outer fabric. This will go around your zip. This is what we're making the zip with. So I will iron those before we begin. And you will also need you'll need 2 little tab pieces. You will need a long zip. I think this was 22. And you will also need another zip. I'm using a metal zip because I've got some of these in stock. I'll put them on the website or in the group later, probably tomorrow, because I think they don't have the widest range of colours in metal zips. These zips are 8 inches long, which is also one of the longest zips. Occasionally you can find some extremely long, but they're usually 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8. So I've got the longest that I could get, and I think there's only about 4 colours. I think there's a navy blue, black, beige, and the blue, this sort of lighter blue. But it's lovely and chunky, and a lovely solid zip there. Then you will also need your pocket for the zip pocket, and I've already drawn my aperture there, which we're going to use to make the zipped pocket on the outside. So the first thing I am going to do, let's pop that, I've just put the iron on, so let me just put those out of the way. I'm just going to run the iron over my lining piece so that's nice, that's lovely. Okay, so I've got those ready. Okay, so the first thing I am going to do, I'm going to prepare the zip first of all. So what we will do is take, oh goodness, oh there they are. Okay, so I'm going to take my 2 tab pieces, and I might even, let's dip this down first, and we'll pop, I'll pop the light off for a start. Let's put our 2 pieces there, close down, whoops, no, and take my light down so we can see, and I'll just plug in my little iron so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I've got the 2 the end of the zip pieces there. So there is my zip, and it'd be a good idea to actually put the iron up here. So I have my iron, and first of all, I'm going to, on the short edges actually, I'm just going to fold that edge in about 1/4 of an inch. It's not crucial, but the more you turn in, the smaller your tab's going to be. So we can just press that down, and then, having pressed the raw edges under, I'm going to fold that in half, like so, and I'm just going to give that a press too. So it will spring open, but hey ho, it doesn't matter. So it's more the point of turning back those short raw edges to give us a tab to slot onto the ends of the zip. So we can just fold that together, just line up those top edges and give that a little press. So we're going to use the whole length of the zip, and I'm just going to pop that against there so I can do a reasonably wide seam here, because that's far too wide, and I want it to just fit snugly over the end of my zip. So let's just pop that just there, and we will just stitch probably about here. So I'm going to start, oops, now what I don't want, I've just had the basting stitch on, so I'm going to stitch with just a standard 2.5, so just the default setting. So I'm just going to stitch back there and down to the bottom there, and actually I may as well just pop the next one underneath, and then I know they're going to be the same size. Whoops. Make sure it goes under there, and just reverse at the top and straight down and back, and then we can cut that. And then, so depending on your zip width, I can now just gauge against there. Okay, I'm just gauging the zip against and just lining those up and thinking, actually, because we can trim away, I want a little bit there, and so I'm just going to pop that underneath, and I'm not stitching on the zip itself, but I thought I can stitch, just reverse at that top, and then keep them lined up, reverse, up to the top. Okay, so now I have got my 2, there are my scissors hiding, I've got my 2 pieces there, so I'm just going to clip them apart. Oops, not the fabric if you can help it, but I am going to clip that off. So I'm going to, actually I'm going to trim that down a bit, trim that bit, because I don't really need it like that. And then you could also just trim a little bit off that top edge. I'm not going too close, so a bit more of a diagonal, just to take the bulk away. So down at those short ends, just clip that off a little bit narrower, and then like so. And then what we're going to do, we're actually going to throw those bits on the floor, and we're just going to turn this to the right side. So just tuck that through, and I can use, so hopefully this is just about the right size. Sometimes zips can be, some are a little bit wider than others, so by gauging it to the zip to your little tab, you'll get the right fit, hopefully. So I just, we could press this again, or just leave that. So there's one, and let's just pop that through, and we'll just push those corners out very carefully, because the last thing you want to do is poke through it, and make sure those raw edges are tucked back. So there we have our two little tabs. And what I'm going to do now, first of all, actually, I'm just going to stitch across that end, because when I open it up, so it's going to be hidden. So we'll just pop that there, and just so that it holds those bits together. That's it. It's not that the zipper pull is going to fall off, but it's just holding it together while it's, so I might even open that up now, and then we can just pop this in. I might clip those threads off because they're a little bit long. Okay, so we'll just pop this into the little tab, and I'm leaving that end showing, and that means I know, just make sure that goes in nicely, I know that I'm not going to hit those two little metal bits there. And then we'll just take it to the machine. I'm going to put that one up there so I don't lose it, and I'm just going to stitch along that edge there, because I just want that piece. There we are. There we are. Whoops, I didn't really want to go that far, but we'll go back, and then I'm just going to go around it, around the edge. So that is actually stitching into where the seam is. That's going to be a little bit, so you've got a few layers of fabric there, because that's where all your seams are. And then, having gone across there once, I like to go across a second time and then clip those threads. Okay, so we can now trim off those ends, because we don't want those showing. That's it. And just clip those away. So there we have our nice, neat little tab end, that end. And then I'm going to do exactly the same at the other end. And again, that metal bit, either pull it out, or we'll let that sit proud of the tab, so that we know we're not going to hit it. I quite like to see that. Not hitting it, but I quite like to see that little end. So I'm leaving that out, and then I'm going to stitch across here again. So down we go there. Just, you might have to push that through just a little bit, as it's a little bit bulky. Oh, let's pull that up a bit. There we go. Let me just, oh, I've got my screwdriver there. Why I want the screwdriver there. So I'm just going to give that a helping hand to go through. And I think we're close enough there. Then down that side. I mean, possibly I could have done a bigger stitch across here because of the bulk. So a 3mm, yeah, 3.0 would have perhaps been a good one to choose. But then I'm just going to go back across this, the first piece that we went across for a second time. Okay, so again, oh yes, that is a bit of thread. Look like the peacock design. But we've got two nice ends now to our zip. And, whoops, there we are. So there is our zip piece. So we've got one on each end, so that they're nice and neat and go with the rest of our bag. So I'm going to set that aside, because the next thing we will do is, I think we will put the external zipped pocket on. So let's pop that out of the way for a moment. So what we need is one of our bag pieces. So we have one bag piece here. And then we want one of our pocket pieces. So we've got two pieces, one I've drawn on, and we want this to be, I can't remember what it was in the pattern, whether it's 3 inches down or I don't, but roughly you don't want it to be too far down. I would perhaps say have the pocket, the bottom of the pocket, just above where the bag base is, because then that gives you a nice deep pocket. And we want this to be central, so I want that to be straight to here, but I also want that to be nice and central as well. So let me just look. Well, there is my ruler. So let's just see how much this is here. So that to that side is 2.5, and not quite 2.5. Whoops. So I'm just going to drag that across and just see. That is 1, 2 3/8. So 2 3/8. So that is perfectly in the centre now. So what I would do at this point is put a pin. I would hold this together so that it stays nicely in place. So I've just put one at the top, one at the bottom. And here I've drawn, so this rectangle is central to this piece. It's about 1.5 inches down from the top. So I've drawn a line, which is our zip's 8 inches, because I want to see all of the zip in there. So that zip is there. And because it's fairly chunky, excuse me, because it's fairly chunky, I've made the distance between the two lines 3/4 of an inch instead of my normal half. So 3/4 of an inch, one line is 3/4 of an inch below the other, and then join. I've only put those angles on there because that's when we cut, and we cut into those angles, and really important for this one because of the foam in the bag. So what we're going to do now is stitch on this line, and I'm going to leave it at a 2.5. I mean, normally I would say do a smaller stitch, but 2.5, the default setting, is quite good and will be ample because we're going through foam. So I haven't started right at the corner. I've started along the line, and I'm just going to stitch along here right to the end, or when I say right to the end of my drawn line, and then we will pivot one more, and we will go down the short edge of the rectangle, and then we will turn it around again, and we will come back. Whoops, one more stitch. That's it. We will come back along that bottom line. So I'm just holding my fabric, I'm just pushing it away so that it doesn't bunch up in the middle, because we want this to look, that's it. So bring it around again, because we're just going up this short end, and make sure we go all the way up there. Turn it around, and then I'm going to meet the stitching where I started, and just go over the first few stitches, 3 or 4 stitches, just so it's locked in place. So I can take out my pins now, and what we're going to do is a little bit of cutting. So I haven't drawn the line along here, but you want to cut in the middle to start off with, and then I am going to trim a little bit away. There we are. So do a little snip, and then all the way, or to where that point is there, and then we're going to clip right into that corner, and we're going to clip into all 4 corners. Now take care you don't cut your stitching, but you want to go as close as you can into that stitching, because that's what will make the the corners turn in really nicely when we turn this through. So clip right into there as close as you can to your stitching. At the end of the day, if you do happen to cut your stitching, you can just start stitching again. Oh, my needle's gone through there. That's better. So now on this one, I'm actually going to trim this away a little bit more. So I'm cutting back to about 1/8 of an inch. There we go. So that we've got as least bulk as we possibly can. Let's just turn that around, And again, so I'm going through all the layers. So the foam and your outer fabric and this lining fabric piece as well. All that noise is lovely, isn't it? And then even these little triangles here, I'm going to clip those off too. There we are. So let's just throw that bit away. So we've got a nice big hole here, whereas normally we don't. We would just cut down the middle and that's it. So there is our aperture. A little bit bigger than normal, but it's because of our chunky zip. So now we're going to post this fabric through. We're going to post both ends, and then we can turn it over like so and pull that out. Now in these corners where we clipped into those angles, where we clipped in there, we want to give that a little tweak, because we want to, I can see already there's a little pleat, and you're more likely to get one purely because we're using the foam as the stabilizer. So just give it a little wiggle, and actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to pin. There we go. So I'm going to pin that back. So let's just get the pins in here, because I want to press this if I can. It's not so easy to press your foam stabilizer, but we want to get these corners out really nicely so they're as flat as possible. So let's just pin that there, and then if we pull back, because we want the edge of the fabric to be on the edge here, so let's just pull that right back, and we'll put the odd pin or two. Pinning's not what I do, is it? But we will on this occasion, because we want this to stay, we want it to be as neat as possible, and we want the edge of the fabric on the edge of this aperture. So I think that's pinned that down quite nicely. Now we've got this edge here to do. So again, just pull that back, and then just so that you can see the fabric. We don't really want to see the lining from the other side. So pin through there, and then again here. And we can have a look at the front. So just pull that back. We can have a look at the front just to make sure that it isn't pushing its way through. Now this bit here looks pretty nice, and we haven't even pressed it yet, but that's what we want, it to be nice and neat here. This one, now if you have got a little pucker there, it may be that I haven't cut, and I can see I haven't cut quite into that foam enough, so I'm just going to do the tiniest bit more. I obviously do not want to cut my stitches, but oh, just the dinkiest bit right into that corner. There we are. That's made all the difference. So I haven't got that, or as big a pucker as I had originally. So let's just put another one just here. And then this is where I probably would use, so I've got pins all the way round, and to my mind that looks quite neat. Can't see any calico showing around there. So what I'm going to do now, I am actually going to blast it with a bit of steam just to hold that down as much as I can. So let's move that out of the way. I am going to move it over to the ironing board, and I'm just going to blast it on the top with steam. Don't steam from the back, because you will, or iron, because you'll melt the foam. So always from the front, but I'm just going to give that a nice press. I've got a, just to give it that extra little bit of oomph, if you like, just to press that nice and firmly, because the foam does spring back. So yeah, that's quite nice. So you heard it going, just a bit of steam there. So the next thing we need to do is pop our zip under there. So we lift up the front piece, and we just pop that in, and we want that zip to go centrally in there. We want that to be beautifully central. So the best way actually is to use, let's see how far that is. Okay, yeah. To use tape. So I am going to just move that out of the way a minute, and I am going to put some tape, some fabric, double-sided fabric tape, and I have such a job. So this one is a clover one, and for me it is a little bit thick. So I'm being very naughty and using my fabric scissors to cut this. So I actually cut this in half so it's narrower. Oh, it's not very good in half there, but I'm just cutting this in half, and it is a little bit, the other So Easy one I have is a lot easier to peel off. And I'm going to put this tape, it's nice and sticky, right on the edge here, so it makes sure that it catches the zip. Because if you put it too far back, that's dropped on the floor, if you put it too far back, it doesn't catch the zip, and then you've got it sticking to your machine as well. So let's just, and it does wash away, so if you do wash your bag, this will wash away as well. So what we're going to do, I'm going to use a pin. What I find with this, if I use my nail, it's a bit like double-sided tape in paper crafting. If you really burnish it, it should, I haven't really got any nails, it should lift, and then you can reveal the, oh, that's coming up there now. So let's just get the end of the pin in there. Oh, see, it'll take me all night to, oh, that's it. It's coming now. I can feel that. There we are. So now I can just pull that off, and then we'll do the same with this one as well. So that's wrapping over a little bit. Let's just pull that up just a little bit more. Hold that up and here, so that that tape is not pulling around to the front. So again, with my nail, I'm just scratching that down, and then that makes it stick to the fabric a little bit better. Oh, is that coming? Or if you can, oh, somebody had a good idea the other time, didn't they? Oh, it's come up a little bit, I can feel it. There we are. So we've got it now. All right, so I should have some little bits there, but I've dropped it on the floor, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. So now, and it's a good idea to actually stand up when you do this. So I'm putting my zip down there, and then I'm going to hover this over the top so that I get it nice and central. So I'm looking at this end. Oh no, I don't want it too far, because perhaps done it a little bit longer. There we are. So I just want a little bit there and a little bit overhanging that edge. So I'm in the middle there, but I'm just making sure that that is nice and straight. And then here needs to come in just that little bit further, just so it makes that beautifully straight. So push that down. There we are. I think that looks straight to me. Okay. Can you see how that is nice and straight in place? And okay, we can see a little bit of the zip opening there, but that doesn't really matter. Okay. Now I'm going to top stitch around here, so that's all held and it's not going to go anywhere. So that's where the tape is really, really good. So I'm now going to move, so either put a zipper foot on or move your needle position, because I want to get all the way around here. Now my pins are out of the way, so I won't be stitching onto those. So I'm just going to pop this underneath. Just make sure that your lining of your pocket is all out of the way. Well, I've pinned it, so it shouldn't be in the way. So I'm going to use the inside of my foot, which you can't see that here. The inside of the foot is running on the inside of my outer fabric and onto the zip. And No, perhaps what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it a little bit further away. And I've moved my needle all the way over so that it will stitch around there. Yes, we should be able to catch that. Okay, so let's see. Oops, why is that not moving? That's better. I might have to undo the zip as we go, but I'm just going to move that over just a little bit. Okay, so let's go. I've stayed at the same stitch length of 2.5, but I want to be able to keep this as straight as I can if possible. And the foot is hopefully not going to get in the way of the zip. Oh yes, we're just passing that nicely. Oh, that's it. Oh, that little knob is getting in the way. That little black button is in the way, so I will just need to move that a little bit, but I think that's okay there. And then we'll come round and just go across here so we can see the teeth. There's no way the teeth are being stitched onto. And then we'll go around here as well. So I've got my foot here just running in like in the ditch. Now I'm going to move so if I lift my press foot up and then I'm going to pull this zip piece back. That's it. I'm going under that black. It's that little black knob at the side there was just getting in the way. But now that is stitching down nicely. Now the thing with the double-sided tape, it's not going to stick my needles. It is a fabric one. If you were to use ordinary paper crafting double-sided tape, it would gum up your needle. But this one is going to be absolutely fine because it is made for sewing. So there we go. So pivot round, and I know that's in the right place because my foot is coming exactly where, and I'm going to meet the previous few stitches. So again, over the first 3 stitches, and then we can't see where we've actually stopped and started. I've got a little bit of thread there. Let's get that out of the way. So there we have a nice neat zip all the way around. Brilliant. So pleased with that. So now we can go back to the reverse, and you can see there, oh, let's clip that little bit off. Not that you'll ever see it, but the back of the zip, that's all nicely secured in the centre. So we can take all these pins out now. So let's take all the pins out. They did their job. They held that fabric in place and gave us a good finish around the edge of the zip. So too many pins is not an issue on this occasion. So let's see. We now, what we could do actually is just trim those ends of the zip because they're a little bit, going to get in my way a bit. And I might actually just take those off as well, because I want to be able to stitch around here with ease. So the next thing we do is take our other piece of lining fabric. Now, if it were a patterned fabric, I would have my pattern facing down. As it's got no right or wrong side, I can just place it together. So we are going to, I might use my pins here just to hold this again. So just to hold those top pieces. So I'm not going through the foam, I'm just holding this piece here and the piece at this corner as well. So by just pinning that, we know exactly where we're going to go. And also the bottom, we just line those edges up and we're going to stitch all the way around the edge. Now the easiest way to do it is like at this is the top edge. So I'm going to fold the foam underneath, out of the way, so all I've got is that top edge. And I'm actually going, because it does tend to pull itself away, I'm going to pin along here as well. So pin in the middle, and it's the foam that does it. It pulls that so it's not level. So just tuck that underneath, and then we can take that pin out. We'll move our needle position back to 1/4 inch, so take your zipper foot off if necessary, and we will stitch around the edge of the pocket. So in we go here. Oops. Oh, that's, oh yes. No, that's not. You see, you could have done with a few more pins because that's not lined up very well, but it's going to be okay. When we get to the corner, one more, we can lift this bit up because we're coming down here now, and we're going to fold this bit of foam out of the way. So you can see under here, I've tucked this out of the way just so that I can get to just the pieces of pocket. So just hold those together or put some pins in place. I really should have put some pins in place, but let's just hold that out of the way. So I'm holding that foam back and then just lining them up as I go. Pins most definitely are best. And then we're going along this edge now. So turn it around, again, pop those pieces together. And this piece of foam, tuck that out of the way. Much, much easier there. So we can line up these fabrics, or this fabric, like so. And stitch across here, make sure that lines up beautifully. Until we get to this other side. Right, we're there. And then we're going up this side here now. So bring that around and tuck, where are we? Tuck that out of the way too, because we are going up this edge here. So pins again, and this will be sealing our pocket. So we're nowhere near the zip, but we have our pocket all in place now. So there is our pocket. That's the inside still free but attached by the zip. There is our zip. Open it up, and there is our pocket lining in there. So that would be the right side of a printed fabric. So that is all done there. So the next thing we need to do, it's all about zips on this occasion. So I'm not looking at comments here, but zip is, ooh, missed that there. Let me just have a look, see what's going on. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Looking for tonight's demo. Oh, I must have missed all those. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Actually, let's see if we can get all the way, so I'll just look back. Not in this instance, we're not turning through. Is the zip on the outside? It is. So the zip is on, this is not, it's just like an internal zip pocket, but it's on the outside of the fabric this time. So that's why our pocket, the pocket's going to be in between the lining. So it's going to be hidden. So there is our pocket, but we need to deal with our zip now, which we put the tabs onto. So what we need to do here is we need to find our, which I've just creased it all again now. We need to find our outer fabric strip and our lining. So the first thing we need to do is to turn back. So again, with the pressing, we are going to just bring this in here. So with our, each of these pieces is going either side of the zip. So the zip is going to go up the middle, and it's going to have the outer fabric on the right side and the lining on the underside. We're not putting any wadding in here at all. So what we need to do first of all is to turn back 1/4 inch. I've got my iron on now, at each short end. So let's do it just here. So just 1/4 inch, and we'll just press that. And similarly here, 1/4 inch. And what we can do, we can alter it when we actually come to stitching it on. We might need to just alter it just a slight bit, because when we've got the lining, we want both to match up identically. And as I'm not actually measuring 1/4 inch, I'm just gauging it or guesstimating. we want them to be exactly the same. So we cut them to start off with exactly the same, but once we've oh, what's that? But once we've pressed a little bit back, I might have made it slightly bigger or slightly smaller. So again, if this were printed fabric, this would be turning the edge back to the wrong side so that the raw edges are hidden on the wrong side. This would be the wrong side, that would be the right side. So again, let's just press that down. What have we said here? Yes, 22 inches is what I've used. You could have longer if you wanted to, but the 22-inch zip is what I've used on this occasion, which is ample. So, but if you've got a 24, it just means that your zip will be hanging over a little bit more, but I think that would be absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do now, no, I'm not going to do that with that one. With the outer fabric, no, we'll start with the zip first. With the zip, I'm going to find the centre. So I am just folding it in half, and for ease and being very naughty, I am just going to clip the tiniest little bit at each side of the zip, like that. So can you see I've nicked the halfway line just by folding it and doing the tiniest little diagonal slit. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with my outer fabric. So I'm going to line up the folded edge, or rather where I've folded the raw edge back, and again I'm just going to clip one edge just so that I've got a little nick so I can see exactly. Oh, typical, drop that on the floor. That's my thingy bit. So that is going to go against. Now what I was trying to do, I can't remember whether that, oh yes, that was that way. Okay, so, oh, clipped the wrong side, never mind. Doesn't really matter. Let's see if that would, oh, that goes like that, that's it. I've kept this piece of fabric, where I've cut down the middle, I've just kept it in the right, so that's how it was cut apart. It started off live like that, I cut it in half. So if I clip on this edge, so again, just fold that together, align that piece, and where the fold in the middle, we just have the tiniest little nick, and there we are. So, first of all, we're going to put our zip with the zipper pull facing up, and I'm going to align, so let's take that one away for the moment because we know where that's going to go. I'm going to take the zip all the way down. I'm going to put right sides together. Okay, so, and I'm going to line up that nick there, and we'll put a pin in it just to hold that together. Okay, so you can see there, we can put a pin here if you want, but I'm just going to hold that for the moment. So I've lined up that centre where that nick is and my pin is now. My zip pull is facing up, and I've got the outer fabric on the top, so it's going to be like so. But at the same time, I'm going to put a lining piece, so it's folded back there, and I'm going to put the lining piece right sides together at the back of it. So I'm making a sandwich of the zip. So we can put a pin just there. Okay. And then I don't actually pin all my bits together, but you can if you want to. You could pin the whole way along there so that it fits. But basically the most important thing is your zip is in between. So you've got the lining fabric at the back, there's the zip, and there's your outer fabric on the top, and the zip pull is at the top as well. So, zipper foot on. So I just started at this at the moment. Zipper foot is on, and I just move my needle, don't I? That is what I do. So I've moved my needle position all the way over, and rather than put my zipper foot on. But in the future, who knows, when I get one of those machines out, who knows what I will do. So, I've got my zip, my foot close up to there, and then I am going to stitch. So I'll start off, and I'll reverse here because it's important that stays together. And then, although I've got the pin here, I haven't pinned it to my backing, my lining fabric. So I'm just lining those up, making sure, and I just keep my finger down here. So the edge of my foot is running by the side of the nylon coil of the zip. And when I get to the pin, so I'm just holding that all together. And as I say, you can pin if you would like to. So I'll just take that out now. And it's when I get to this end here, I need to make sure, so I'm making sure the zip lines up with the lining, and then my top piece, my outer fabric, is lining up there as well. Now when I'm getting towards the end here, I'm just making sure that that all lines up. And you know what? It doesn't. So it's my fabric, my lining fabric is a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to pull that. I obviously turned it back a little bit too much. So I'm just pulling that out a little bit rather than doing something with the top. And I'll just see if that lines up now. So for me, I've just, where I pressed it, I'm just unpressing it and opening it out a little bit more. I will nail press there so that I get this, or I'm going to do that a little bit further in, and pressing that so that that still lines up. So then finger down. So this is where if you did pin it the whole way along, you could make sure that lines up perfectly. And cut that off. So I reversed at the end, and now we can open that one out and we can put the lining fabric back like so, and we are going to press that the whole way along so that we've got one lot there. Let's just get this on, and we can press along that edge because we want that also to be nice and neat. So let's get the big pressing mat now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull that open and just iron that lining. So there we go. So I've ironed that along there, and then I'm going to pull this back and just open that out, and just make sure my iron is touching the nylon coil, but I'm not holding it on there long. I don't want to melt it. So let's just pull that out and press along that edge. This fabric isn't as thick as the original, the fabric. It's more a tapestry weave. So this one is actually ironing that a little bit more easily. Okay, so then I'm going to flip it to the other side, and I'm just going to make sure that that side is also pulled out. And what you'll notice, so here I've got some of the outer fabric showing, so I need to pull that down just to make sure that still lines up. That way we know we haven't ironed a pleat into, that's it, that lines up nicely. So now I can't see any fabric from either side, which is how it should be. Okay, so even this way, there's nothing there. So I know this is all perfectly opened up. So before, I'm not going to top stitch straight away. What I'm going to do now is do the other side of the zip, because we want this similar fabric on the other side. So again, we'll take our second strip, and that one has got that little nick there. So I know that needs to go that way round, and we need to cover the opposite side of the zip. So again, right sides together and align that notch. So there's the notch, and again I am going to put a pin in here because I know that is central. And what should happen now is that this piece here lines up in exactly the same place, and it does. So that should be exactly in line with that one there. So what we can do is we will put a pin in here just to hold that to the zip. Oh, Janet's lost us. Oh dear. It's all the way over to the left, I think. But I'll ask when she brings the camera up. Are we talking about the needle? Yes, my needle setting is at 0. 0.0. So if you're using a zip foot, just you have your needle in the centre. Yeah, well, the setting will be 3.5, so it's right in the centre if you're using a zipper foot. I've kept my standard foot on, and I just move the needle position all the way to the left, which becomes 0.0. Sorry, which is good. I'm not looking at all the comments. Elaine, yes, it is available on repeat. Please don't worry about that. So, right. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to do the same as we did on the other side. I'm going to put my lining piece right sides together so the raw edge is facing away, and I'm just going to line that up as well. So that is nicely aligned. So again, pin that, and then we've got that ready to go, and I'll alter this end when we get there if I need to. So we are going to align that. So I'm starting here. I can see those all line up beautifully, which is fine, and we are just going to lift our zipper foot on, which you probably still have got your zipper foot on, and I'll take the pin out because that's all held in place, and we'll start stitching again. So reverse a little bit just to hold that together, and I hold mine up and I line it up as I go. So I'm just lining the zip and lining the lining, but if you would like to put pins in the whole way along, that is absolutely fine. It's just when you put a pin in, you've also got to take it out. That's me just being lazy. So now I've taken that centre pin out, I'm lining that edge, the outer edge, and then I'm lining that with my lining piece as well. So fingers on it just to hold it so it doesn't move, or pins, or binding clips even. So I'm coming towards this end. Now I've got to make sure that this one lines up with that one that's already there. And it's a little bit out, so I'm just moving that back so that it does line up. But I'm going to pick the zip up and then just make sure this one, my lining piece, lines up as well. And I think that just needs, let's just see where that is. Oh, that's okay. That lines up there. And I can see, yeah. So that is all lining up beautifully at that point. So just carry on stitching and get to the end and reverse. So that's the other side of the zip done, and we just need to press that like we did before. So while I'm here on this side, I'll just leave that as it is, and I'm just going to get my iron and just do a circular motion so that you are pushing the fabric away from the zip. There we are. Okay. So that's all nicely ironed now. Flip it over to the other side, and what we can do now is push the lining over as well. So just push that away from the zip and all the way along, circular motion, and that way you're getting no pleating up here, because if you iron from just one side, it could so easily iron a pleat into that bit. But that looks nice and neat, and then also that all lines up beautifully there. So we'll give that another little press along the top. Okay, now for the top stitching. So we are only going to top stitch. So if you are going to put the, we're going to make a channel just in case. It also looks a little bit decorative to have a second row of stitching along here. But if you're doing a channel that you're going to use with the internal wireframes, don't stitch this short edge here. As we're not, it doesn't matter, but you do need to leave that open if you are going to put these wireframes in here, because we're going to top stitch along the edge of where the zip is, And then we're going to stitch another line, which is about 1/2 inch away from the edge. And that would be where your wire frame would fit if you're making the bag. So in that case, you don't stitch along here. But because we're not using this, I am actually going to stitch along that edge as well. So I'm going to stitch down along the short side, along the edge of the zip, and down the other side. So I am actually going back to my normal. You would change over to your standard foot or your 1/4 inch foot, and I am going to do about 1/8 inch in from the edge. And I'm actually going to do a little bit longer stitch length here. There we go. So then along the edge of, oh, have I run out of thread? No. No, that's just the end, or has it? No, let's just see. Oh, no, it didn't stitch. Okay, let's start again. So I obviously didn't catch the thread there. Right, let's start again. So we're just stitching along to the edge of the zip, and then we'll pivot around, and we are just, I can't, no, we're not stitching. What is the matter? I think my bobbin thread, there we go, my bobbin thread has decided to stop picking up. So, oops, no, that's fine. So I'll just re-thread the bobbin there, and we should be fine. We'll start again. So, let's go here. That sounds better. Right. Yes, now we're stitching. So I'm just going along this edge, and I use just a part of my foot to line up with the edge of the fabric, and that way, so I'm not watching the needle, I'm watching the edge of the foot. Let's just take that bit in there, and up to this edge. One more. Okay, just one. Trisha needs a new machine. Yes, they absolutely do. I don't, for some reason my bobbin had just come unthreaded, that's all. Or it wasn't. So there is one side stitched, and I have, where are we here? There. I'm using Orifil thread as usual, and it just blends into the fabric. It just sinks into it. It's lovely. Okay, so I'm just going down the other side now. There we go. And again, along here, just a quick run. And if you think, oh, why do I go so fast? I'm just holding the fabric from this end and allowing it to stitch. And that needs pulling over there a little bit so that lines up better. Okay, one more there, and around we go to come down this final edge. Okay, so there we have our nice, neat zip with a zip tab. So there it is. So we'll zip that up again. Right, we're doing very, very well for time. So there is our zip all ready to be added to the bag. So let's take our, it doesn't really matter which you have, but let's take our, let's push that over there. Just make sure the pocket is flat there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our zip panel and we're going to put that right sides together here, right sides together with our, and centrally. So there's between 1/4 and 1/2 inch at each side. So I'm going to pin that there and pin that there. So you've got the right side of the bag and the zip panel. So we've got our zip pull here. So it's going right side down onto the front of the bag. So we can pop that like so. And then we are going to pop our lining on the top. Okay, so we've got our lining piece here with the corners cut out. You can see there. So I'm just putting the lining fabric on the top. And so I'll just line that edge up, take that pin out and replace it. And you can do exactly the same along here, replace that one as well. But I shall stitch and go. So we'll go back to our standard stitching, and we will start at this edge. Let's move in a little bit closer. So I'm doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'll reverse here just to hold that nicely, and then I'll take that pin out, and again I'm just making sure that all lines up with my outer fabric and lining fabric, and straight across, holding that down as we go. I'm coming up to another pin. I know that is all in place and pinned in the right place. So again, sometimes your lining stretches a little bit as you go across, but we can always trim that. I can see this is just going a little bit longer, but we'll trim that when we get to it, when we get to putting it together, because it won't make any difference at all there. So there is one piece there. So we have our lining, we have our zipped panel. So I'm going to push the lining underneath now. So the lining is under there, underneath my main piece. And also, so at this point actually, I am now, oh, I know what I haven't done. I haven't top stitched along here. So I need to, the channel that we would have done, I've forgotten to do. So I'm going to just stitch across here 1/2 inch below this outer one. So I'll do that now. Let's just see if I stitch across here. So what I'm going to do, I'm using the edge of my foot to line up with the stitching I did for, it's about 1/2 inch, with my top stitching along the side of the zip. So it just adds a little bit extra of decoration really. So I've stitched along there, and that, as I say, it's just, if you did it in another colour, you can just about see that. If you did it in a different colour thread, it would look even better. So I'm just going to top stitch along the other side. So I'll just fold that up. It will all spring back. So this is making the channel. So rewind. It does say it in the instructions. So I'm making sure that lining is totally out of the way, because I should have done that earlier. Okay. So I've done those two now. So the thing I was going to do then was I was going to top stitch. So I have my lining under here. That's my pocket. There's my lining. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to top stitch along the top here. And I'm just going to pull. So where the lining is here, I'm pulling it away. And I'm going to top stitch. Okay, so I'm pulling that lining down so that I know that's not tucked in here. And I'm going to use a slightly longer stitch length again, and I'm doing that 1/4 inch away from, and it just gives a little bit of added, just added, not decoration, but it just makes it look a little bit, it's top stitching and adding something to that particular part of the bag. And you can see there where my lining has stretched a little bit. But can you see how that looks with that little stitching along there? It just adds to it, and that's going to be your zip there. So that's why I did that piece. So now we're going to work on this other side, because we need to put the other outer piece, this one here, right sides together. So the cutouts are at the bottom, and we're going to lay that onto the top there. So then you've got the zip in between, but we'll work from the other side. So lay it on there like that. It's just easier to do that because you know it's in the right orientation then. So then we can flip it to the other side. So we're working from the back. I should need a drink soon, shan't I? So this time, so we're looking at the zip piece again in the centre. So about between 1/4 and 1/2 inch each side. I can see that's right. And then we'll put a pin to hold it. So we'll put a pin there, and at the other end and in the middle, because we want that held really nicely. And then, like we did before, we need to add the lining. So I've pinned all along there, that's all nice. And then we're going to take our lining. So the lining, the zip again is in the centre, and we're going to put the lining on the top. So right side down, and we can line that. I will take the pins out and replace them like so, and here, and then hopefully this time my lining won't stretch, but you never know. Okay, and that's in there. Just pull that back a little bit like that, and then we can take that centre pin out and put that one in. So there we are. We have got our lining fabric, our zip is in the middle, and underneath is our, down here is our outer fabric. So we'll pop that under the machine again, and again we will reverse at the beginning. We'll pull that pin out there, and my foot is running away from me, my pedal, and we'll just carry on along here. I can see that fabric moving already. We'll let it move, and then we can always trim it when we get to it. So there we go. It may be why I know from time to time people say my bag lining doesn't fit. It might be because it's stretched a little bit, just like this has. Okay, so what I'm going to do before I'm just going to trim this bit here. I can see it's a little bit wider, and I'll just taper it down just so that it fits at that top edge. I can do the same with the other one as well. I'll do that shortly. Okay, so now we're going to do exactly the same as we did before. Open it out, and if I just pull this, whoops, oh, that's caught it there. So I'm just pulling it that way. Can you see? So again, I've got the lining fabric and the outer fabric, and I'm just going to top stitch along this piece. So I've just popped it, you can see. So this is the piece we've just worked on, and I've got the lining underneath. So again, and I want it the other way, don't I? We need to turn it around the other way because I'm top stitching. So just make sure, that's it, the lining goes there. I've got the lining, this is the piece I'm going to stitch. The lining is there, and again, so this is getting in my way. I'm just going to top stitch across here, and again, so, and I'm making sure that I pull this lining away, just so that I've got that, and actually match up the outer and the lining together. So we're just top stitching across just below, and again I'm pulling that away, pulling that down, and that's just giving a little bit of embellishment, a little bit, it just makes it more professional looking. So I have stitched almost across there, and we have done that now. So there is the top of our bag. You can see the top stitching here and here. Now what we need to do is bring these two together, so the two outers together, and that will automatically leave you with the two linings together. So there it is, linings together and outers together. So the most important part is where both the top pieces of the bag come together. So make sure they line up, and pop a pin in there. We want to tuck the zip that's hanging out here, just tuck that inside out of the way, because what we don't want to do is catch, you see this part here where the zip piece, we don't want to catch that in our seam. So we can put a pin that side just so that we don't trap. So I'll put that there so it's out of the way. These other bits will automatically line up, but I'm just going to go to the other side. So swivel that around, so where the zip is again, we're going to tuck that right down out of the way, and we're going to line up this top edge here. So line that top. Oh, that's where I've got a little bit of extra. So let's see the extra lining. So I'll just trim that, just taper it down, because the rest of it will fit nicely. But just taper that down so that it fits at the top. So again, we're going to line that up perfectly with that top edge, and we'll put a pin out in there. So, and I'm just going to put a pin here so that this piece is really tucked out of the way. That does not want to be tucked into the, or stitched into the lining or anything else. So now I'm going to stitch along the outer fabric piece and then along the lining piece, and that lines up beautifully. So let us go. So we'll go back to our standard stitch length, 2.5, and I'm just going to reverse there. Keep those edges lined up. Pin or binding clips, absolutely, if you would like to. And we are just stitching our way. Now when you get to this top piece, it is quite bulky because we top stitch there. So just keep stitching down here carefully, because we've got that bulkiness, haven't we, from where the zip is. Might even try and just pull that even further out of the way. Yes, I've just pulled that even further so that we can carry on stitching down. And there we go. So that just made that go a little bit longer. Right, so we've gone along that one side. Now I'm just going along, because I started that side, I'm going along the bottom edge where I'm going to leave a gap, which reminds me to open our zip up a bit. So before I get, where is my zipper piece here? Before I get, I'm going into this inside here. I should have said that earlier. I wasn't reading messages, because I'm sure somebody would have said, Trisha, open your zip. So I'm just opening the zip. Oh, let's see if we can do it to halfway. Okay, there we are. That's it. So I've opened my zip up to halfway there, but then I'm just going to tuck that out of the way again. We've done the main piece, which was important. So now we're going to do this bottom edge, which is where we're going to leave a gap. So I would probably, because we've got quite a big bag to get through, I would leave a good, what would I leave? Oh, let's say 6 inches or so. So I've only just come in a little way there, and I'm going to come across to the other side to there, a couple of inches from the edge. It just makes it so much easier to actually turn your bag through. So again, just here, let's just tuck in that gap there. Here is our zip bit. Let's tuck that right out of the way. Just line that up, there we are. And then start stitching from the base there. Okay, so I'm just pressing my fingers down. Oh dear, oh dear. It's because I had no liquid. And now I'm just going over that top piece there, so be careful over there. Right, bear with 1 minute. I'm just going to have a little drop of water. Sorry, my voice was going there, so I've just got probably got water all over my face now. Okay, so let's carry on stitching. Carry on stitching down this side. And I say we'll just reverse at the end there, because we're coming up to the outer base piece. So we're going to stitch the whole way across here. So there we go. And again, your binding clips are really good to hold this together if you like to have something to hold it together, as opposed to pins. Binding clips are always really good. Okay, so we have most of it done now. So now we contend with these bottom corners, your bag base. So, funny little gap, but if you press it together, so I put my fingers in here and pull it apart, and then just press that piece together. Now, I usually do, and I will, pop a pin in there because it is spongy, and it does like to pull itself apart. So, pop a pin where that seam joins, so that it's easier to stitch. Now, you probably won't be, let's see how I'm going to do this. You probably won't be able to see this because the rest of the bag absolutely gets in the way. So, let's see what we can do. We'll do it very quickly. It's probably easier the other end, but yeah, you see this is all in the way. So, I'm just trying. I'll just make sure that is lining up. So I say this is where the pins come in very handy across here because it does pull apart. So over to the side. Let's see, so I can show you what that looks like. So I've stitched across there and there, and we can just trim that a little bit because, as I say, it does move because of the sponginess of the foam. So there is one side, and then we've also got this side as well. So again... Are you done? No. No. All right. So now, looking at the seam here, if we push that to the same way, up to this end, and then again, press that together and pin. And we're now going to stitch across that one as well. So let's see if I can flatten that down without pushing it out of line. So I think you can just about see. I think that's going that way, or is that going that way? No, that is going that way. Okay. So just press that. I'm trying to keep my seam going in the same direction, and then just pull that a little bit. Because, and that lines up beautifully now. As I say, the foam, it stitches through it beautifully, and it gives the bag such good shape. It is well worth using. So that one has stitched together nicely. Now it's just the other end, as in our lining. So again, just pull that apart, put your fingers in there, and one seam going one way, one going the other. I still will put a pin just to hold that together because it is so nice when it does just it does just sit beautifully because you've nested those seams just like we do in our patchwork. So starting off, reversing at that end and across. I'm still putting my finger in there just to hold that and make sure it's still lining up. And just reverse at the end there and cut. And then the same with this other side here, which looks a little bit okay. So Trisha's just going to trim that. That one slipped a little bit, so just trimming a little bit off there. But we're still going to line that up. I can see that went that way. So just line that up and nest that seam with a pin, and that point at that end there, we can just tuck that under the machine and reverse, and across we go. Alright, so, and reverse at that end. Right, so we just trim that just like this sometimes to be as neat as we can. It is going onto the inside, so it really isn't going to harm it at all. I do need a good long drink, and where is Martin? He's shouting up the stairs to me. Okay, so now we have, I think what we'll do, we'll come up now because I've done all the stitching. All the stitching is done. Because I've been doing so much talking for nearly 2 hours, haven't I? Comments are here. Oh, yippee. So, there it is. There's the hole in the bottom of the bag. This is why we needed to open the zip, because I'm putting my hand into the zip part as well, so that I can get into this. So I'm grabbing one of the corners and I'm pulling it through the open zip and through the bottom, the seam in the bottom, or the open seam, the gap in the bottom. So let's just pull that out, and the bigger the gap you leave, the easier it is to come through. So having, there we go. Oh, it is good. It is good. So having, I'm just going to pull that other one through as well. So now actually we can open the zip fully, makes it even easier. Let's just see. All right. Okay, we won't at the minute. Let's just pull that. It will be easier when that comes like so, and we can just open that up. Then we can, I'm still putting my hand in the gap so that I can push out those bottom seams and make sure, oh, we have. So I've pushed that bottom out, and then the other side as well. So I'm putting my finger and my thumb in there. There's a bit of thread coming out there. And so there is our base, and all we need to do now is to, we're not too bad at all. We're 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. So just open those out. These are your lining corners, and all we need to do is stitch across the base here. What I'll do, I'll perhaps just leave that, I'll do that a little bit later, but just turn those pieces in and then stitch. And one of the things I like to do, stitch right from, so here's your corner seams, stitch right from the outside edge, and then you've got a nice neat seam across the bottom, which makes it look as if it was meant to be. So I will push those into the corners. So I'm just putting my hand in there, pushing the lining into the corner, and then just make sure that zip is the right way round. We can just zip it up, and there it is. I do need my dinner. So there we are, just like our other one, nice and big. One of the things I should have said, you could quilt it if you wanted to. So before you start any of your putting it together, you could actually quilt that fabric, and there we are. So there is one, there is two. Lovely. But it is, if you just follow how I did it, obviously don't forget to, what did I do? I forgot to put something, oh, the extra stitching, that's right. But the extra stitching does, you see this across here, it really does make it look good, don't you think? So there is your thingy one, there is your peacock one, or a bit of thread there, and there is your, oh, I don't know what we call this, but this was the original. And this one does feel a little bit firmer. As I say, the fabric is thicker. It's more like a tapestry weave, rather than, this one is a linen cotton canvas, but still looking really, really nice. Needs a bit of a press because I haven't done that, but it is a nice, nice size bag. So we've had a really good make tonight. I'm surprised we got it done as quickly as we did, actually. But yes, thoroughly enjoyed it, and I rather like the peacock as well. So thank you so much, everybody, and thank you for being so patient of having it a week after it should have been. Oh, let's put it around that way, because it's good to see the zips, isn't it? I thought that blue zip went quite well with the peacock. So there they are, both of the little bags. So thank you, Gita, and thank you, Patricia, And thank you, Margaret. Right, yes, it is dinner time. I do need a drink. I made it, fortunately. Who knows, sometimes the voice just does keep going. But it's held out for me and thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't help being poorly, can I? I don't feel poorly, it's just, you know. So, yeah, thank you very much for joining me. I'll be here tomorrow night. We'll do a short, it is a fairly short Thrifty Thursday. I think we should probably be downstairs, and I shall have all the goodies in front of me. I'll perhaps put a bit of Aurifil on there because if you've been making as much as I see you've been making, your threads might be getting a bit low. Only joking. But we all need a little bit more Aurifil. You saw how lovely it went, apart from when the bobbin came unthreaded, but perfect. Anyhow, thank you for your company. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening and tomorrow, and I'll perhaps see you tomorrow night. So, bye for now.